Good morning, everyone. I am Professor Vivek Mongade, Assistant Professor, Department of ISC, Savvy the Institute of Technology, Rajankunte, Bengaluru. Today we are going to start with the database language and interfaces. These are some of the database. Why we need database language means once the design of the database is completed, and DBMS is chosen to implement the database. DBMS is chosen to implement the database in the sense once the database is completed, we need to add the data. We need to add the data to the database to perform some of the tasks in the form of queries. The first step is to specify the conceptual and the external schema. Conceptual schema means we have to add the entity, we have to add the attributes, and we have to add the insert. We have to insert the values to the table. Right, all those things we're going to see in the conceptual schema and mapping between the schemas. So we have high level schema, low level schema, and external level, conceptual level, physical level. We have seen in the 3 schema architecture. So we have to map between these schemas. So to perform those operations, we need some language. That language we say it as a database management system languages. These are some of the 4 languages we're going to use or we're going to implement on the to construct the database. We're going to see one by one. First is DDL, Data Definition Language. Data definition language means it is used by the database administrator because he is the one who is going to control the whole database. He is the one who is going to control the whole database. He have that privilege to provide the authentication for the users. So he is the one who is going to use this DDL command. And also database designer to define the schemas. The DBMS will have a DDL compiler. Okay, the DBMS will have a DDL compiler. If we use the DDL statements, it will have a DDL compiler whose function is to process the DDL statement in order to identify description of a schema. As I said, once the database is created, we have to give the schema to the database. Nothing but what type of entity we are creating, what type of attribute we are adding to that entity, and what type of value we are inserting to that entity. All those information we want to give, right? All that information will be in the conceptual level. And to store the schema description in the DBMS catalog, we're going to use the DDL statement. DDL statement is used to specify the conceptual schema only. DDL, this statement, this language is going to use for the conceptual schema. Example for DDL is create command, insert command, delete command. These are some of the examples, some of the statements you're going to use in the DDL. Next come to STL, storage definition language. It is used to specify the internal schema. As we say, as the name we can say storage. So it is related to the physical level, that is low level, internal schema. The mapping between the 2 schema may be specified in either one of these language. To perform by storage for inserting the data into the table, all those things which will come under the storage definition language. Next is view definition language. It is used to specify the user views and the mapping to the conceptual schema. But in most DBMS, the DDL is used to define both the conceptual and the external schema. But when it comes to our DBMS, SQL is used VDL in many ways for the application view as result as the predefined queries. Last is the data manipulation language. As the name is said, data manipulation, to perform a manipulation, to modify, to do any changes in the database. There we going to use the data manipulation language. For example, data manipulation language like insertion, deletion, then update. These are some of the statements which comes under the DML, data manipulation language. Once the database schemas are compiled, the database is populated with the data, user must somehow means to implement the databases. Some of typical manipulation includes like, as I said, insertion, deletion, and modification of the data. Right? If we modify or if we delete the data from the database, if we insert a new value in the database, the structure of the data has been changed. Right? So those type of language we say it as a DML, data manipulation languages. Okay. This is regarding the data manipulation language and the interfaces. Thanks for watching.